Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. If you're new, make sure you hit the subscribe and the notification bell, because what I do here is all about Cardano and the Cardano ecosystem. So smart contracts did go live on top of the Cardano mainnet over the weekend. On Sunday, we had the Alonso hard fork combinator event. As expected, it was fairly uneventful to a big degree in that the transition happened, the software went live on the network, and there was no big issues with it. And that's what the hard fork combinator event is designed for. In terms of price, again, no major reaction there, which if you've been following the channel, you'll know that's kind of what we were expecting here. So in the video, we will get into what I see happening over the next few weeks, in my opinion, in terms of projects launching, in terms of Cardano, where we are going now, and then we will take a look at the charts towards the end as well. Timestamps down below. If you get some value, then make sure you give the video a like, leave a comment down below, or share it out there as well. And just a shout out to Brian from Changing Lights, who is an Irish photographer and sent me over the image for the background today as well. And let's just get into it. So we'll start out here with Charles. This was the IOHK stream on Sunday night, which was a stream of the changeover of the epoch. So on the epoch change, that's when the smart contract software kicked in on the network, and from then projects and anyone out there can actually run smart contracts on the network. Great to see a bit of humor from Charles here with the Ghostbusters outfit. Anyone who hasn't heard of it, and all the jokes about Cardano down through the months and years of the ghost chain and nothing ever happens. Nice to see that bit of humor brought into the event as well. So you can go back and check that out if you want. It was lots of different IOHK members in it, and on the actual transition, they talked about what was actually happening on the network in terms of the changeover and everything like that. So if you're interested in the more technical side of it, you can check that out as well. But looking over on Cardano Scan here, you can see interactions with smart contracts. So these are contract transactions. So smart contracts are running. As I've said though over the last while, to kind of get people's expectations in line, is that this is essentially version 1 of smart contracts. So we will see lots of improvements, lots more tooling is going to follow over the next few weeks and months that make it a lot easier for projects to run on top of the Cardano blockchain. But at its core, the core functionality for smart contracts is there now. We will see lots of improvements over the next while, but this is just to show that smart contracts are running. If you go to cardanoscan.io and contract transactions, you can go through these and you can go in and see what the individual smart contracts are actually doing. Looking at where we are in terms of the roadmap for Cardano. So Goguen is when smart contracts go live. That's what we have now. We had the Alonso hard fork combinator event. So next up is there will be improvements to that. There will be new functionality released, new tooling that will help with the development on that side for projects. Then we will move on to the Basho era, which is all about scaling, which is all about the number of transactions, throughput on the network, and this will bring in Hydra and big improvements to the network as well. Then eventually it will be on to Voltaire, which is governance, and essentially putting the full Cardano network into the hands of the community, where every decision and parameter change can all then be voted on within that era as well. So for now, it is finishing out Goguen, getting the last releases out for smart contracts, then moving on to scaling to really take the network to another level. What else have we got? So talking about levels and everything like that, looking at the epochs here, you can see the number of transactions that are happening on the network has been increasing all the time. So if we go back down here, let's say epoch 2, where am I? So transactions is TXs. So 278, we had 133,000 transactions, then we had 131 in 279. Skip all the way up here then to 287, and an epoch for anyone who's new is 5 days. We see 401,000 transactions, 475, and then 501,000 transactions on the network in epoch 289. So again, I expect this to continue to keep going up. This current epoch, maybe a little bit of a pullback. We'll wait and see how that happens. But in general, I expect the number of transactions happening to keep going up and up. As we now have smart contracts, that adds more and more utility to the network as well. You can see it was the first time that fees went over 100,000 ADA collected in transaction fees, but the average transaction fee on the network is still 0.21 ADA, which when you look at some of the size of the transactions is extremely small. I'm going to go back on the video that I done a while ago talking about where we see rewards for the Cardano network for staking. And in general, they do go down slightly every epoch. But at some point, the fees that are collected on the network will get to a stage where we can stabilize the actual rewards percentage and potentially start to push it up again. What I see on the network right now is the APY for staking is in around 4.9 to 5.1% over the year. But again, it all comes down to the treasury fund, which is getting depleted every epoch, and the number of fees, because they're the two factors that make up what is paid out to people that are delegating. And on that, for anyone who wants to support the channel even more, I did put out an update somewhere. I put out the latest update on the stake pools. I've stopped doing these every 5 days because in general, staking just works and rewards are paid out every 5 days. Talking about how things average out, you will see some epochs will be below average, some will be above. This comes down to how the protocol assigns blocks. But in general, any pool that you're with will average out. So choose one that you want to support what they're doing. And mine are under the ticker PAUL for anyone who wants to support the channel here. Looking at code being announced on the network, actually Polymarkets first. Polymarkets, to be fair to them, I have mentioned them on the channel before about their bet with Charles. They did double down that Cardano wouldn't have smart contracts launched in September, but they did admit defeat and they donated $50,000 to the charity that Charles mentioned, and they put it in on behalf of Charles and the Cardano community. So fair play to them for respect where it is due. We'll look at the MinSwap one now in a minute. Charlie 3, talking of projects putting out code on the network. Great to see projects actually running some of their code on mainnet now as well. I would expect over the next few weeks we will see lots of other projects coming out like this as well and putting out details of what they are running on the mainnet. And as far as I know, then Charlie 3 will be launching as soon as we have a DEX on the network as well. So they are an Oracle solution. Maybe I'll bring Damon back on the channel at that stage. So MinSwap put out an update on the EUTXO model, which is looking at concurrency. That was the big FUD that was out there in the network and talked that Cardano couldn't run DeFi. So they put out a really good article here on their solution and what they're looking to do in order for their DEX to run. It's called Laminar. And again, I'll put links to this down below. And maybe I'll do a full video looking at these solutions, the different ones that are out there. We see Meld as well, another really good article, concurrent and deterministic batching on the UTXO ledger. We've seen SundaySwap, which I've shown in previous videos, put out another really good article on that as well. We have IOHK here, concurrency and all that, Cardano smart contracts and the EUTXO model. Anyone who hasn't heard of it, basically concurrency is the issue that is the challenge. It's smart contracts, everything like that, cannot run exactly as they have done on top of Ethereum. So Ethereum uses an account-based model. Cardano uses an EUTXO model. So with the account-based model, you have one Ethereum wallet, you have one address. With the UTXO model, which Bitcoin uses, you have one wallet and multiple different addresses. You could have hundreds of addresses all linked to the one. So you could have part of your balance sitting in multiple different locations. And the same with Cardano, the EUTXO model, you have one wallet and you have multiple different addresses in that. So we did talk about this with Ergo. I had Ergo on the channel last week, so I'll put a link to that down below. They talked about their solution as well for this using off-chain bots. And as you can see, there are lots of different solutions out there that will and can be implemented over the next few weeks to bring these applications online. And the timeline really does still look like mid-October to the end of October. We'll talk about that in a second. Looking into price, let's refresh CoinGecko here. Actually, one other thing that I didn't mention is the Cardano Summit is happening in a week and a half from now. So September 25th to the 26th. It is happening in lots of different locations all around the world, some official and then some virtual events where there's local meetups happening to get in and look at what is happening within Cardano. I would expect lots of different announcements at this, different projects showing what they're all about, showing the code and exactly what they are all doing. So we have had some hints on that, still looking around to try and get all the puzzle pieces to put them together to see what might actually happen there. But again, things might be a little bit sideways until we see what happens. We'll talk about that in a second. In terms of looking at the price, I've seen some people saying that it's not a milestone at all for Cardano hitting smart contracts and everything like that because the price is down. If you've been following the channel here, you will know that I have always said I don't expect price to skyrocket when smart contracts launches. If anything, it could potentially be buy the rumor, sell the news, which within cryptocurrency it is people keep buying in the launch to an event and then a few days before it, they start to dump off and it dumps the market down. With this event, we haven't really seen that from Cardano. Yes, the price is down 17% in 7 days, but Ethereum is down 15%, Bitcoin down 12%, Binance 19%, XRP down 23%. Solana has been holding okay just because they were in the middle of a huge run when this happened, and Polkadot up 11% as well. You keep going down, the majority of coins are down over the last week. And that's due to Bitcoin, the overall market pulled back. So if we look at the comparison chart here, so we look at this here, you can see back on the 7th, going into the 6th, it's on the 7th of September. Up here, it's Cardano, the ADA price on top and the Bitcoin price on the bottom. You can see Bitcoin started to dump off in the market and ADA followed and basically every other coin in the market followed. Then started to stabilize. Cardano was going up while Bitcoin was not doing a whole lot, a bit of sideways, pull back again. And if you look at the two of these, they are very aligned. Apart from Cardano had a few bits of moves to the upside. Then as Bitcoin had this big candle here, then Cardano followed down as well. Then we had the Litecoin fake news yesterday of Litecoin partnering with Walmart. Market shot up. When it was said to be false, the market went down then. So Bitcoin at the minute is making a bit of a move to the upside. And as we can see, the Cardano price is feeling the effects of that. Generally, this does happen when Bitcoin makes a fairly decent move. You will see other coins will lag behind. But when we look at the overall trend, then against Bitcoin let's have a look at it here. As you can see, this is ADA against Bitcoin. In general, the price has been moving fairly solidly to the upside over the last year. So let's take a look at where we are now and where we may potentially go over the next while. So this is on a daily chart. Let's zoom into it here. Orange line down here is smart contracts. Again, you can see what potentially could have been the sell-off if it hadn't to have been for the whole market selling off. Potentially we could be just trending sideways here because really there has been no major dump apart from the overall market pullback at this stage. So September 12th, smart contracts. This year, again, I went more in depth into this in the video maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago now. You can check that out if you want. So this is when the Cardano Summit is going to happen. I would personally expect, withstanding anything major happening on the Bitcoin side or the overall market, that the market will be kind of up and down, trending sideways until the event. Till we see what gets announced here. Potentially this could be the event then that would kickstart the move to the upside again and let us start going up and setting new all-time highs above 310. If we zoom out a bit more here, you can see I have this big purple mark on the chart here. This is kind of mid-October to mid-November. This is when I expect to see a lot of the action happening for Cardano and for projects launching on top of Cardano. So once we start to see real DeFi infrastructure launching, start to see the DEXs launching, that's when I think the Cardano price can really start to push for new all-time highs. Potentially this move could be pulled back here into September if the Cardano Summit goes well, if we see some fairly decent announcements at that. As I hear of the different rumors and different information coming out about that, I will put it into a few of the videos over the next week or so. So essentially that's it on where we are, where I see us going. Hopefully this has helped a little bit, and the videos over the last few weeks and months have helped put things into perspective. Rather than talking about Cardano to $50 on the launch of smart contracts, we've always kept it fairly, I suppose, fairly low key here, not talking about any crazy numbers, but in general, I'm very, very bullish on Cardano, where it's going to go. And over the long term, I think things are still looking very bright for Cardano. Is Cardano going to be your 10, 20x gain from here before the end of the year? No, I really don't think so. I would love to be wrong on that, but I don't think so. I think if you're looking for that, then that is what you do with a smaller percentage of your portfolio, and you look into some of the other altcoins. For me, that is fairly solely focused on the Cardano ecosystem right now. We see things like Vent Finance, which I had Lucas on the channel a while back. They launched their few days before smart contracts, they launched with their IEDO. Let's have a look at where. So at the minute, trading at 36-37 cent. The IDO price was 0.028, so just under 3 cent. So 13-14x there straight away. You've Card Wallet as well. Things like that was down at 9 cent. That's where you're going to get the bigger gains. But for me, that's not what Cardano has been. Even though we've had incredible gains with Cardano over the last year, for me, it is a stable part of my portfolio. Gives me staking rewards every 5 days, and that's what it's there for. What I'm looking for, bigger gains, faster gains, we'll say. That's when you look at other altcoins that are out there. But again, they come with their risks as well. Over the next few weeks, we'll look into a lot of them. I'm still talking to projects on a daily basis that are launching on top of Cardano to try and find out what is coming and what is the best way to get into them. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it, and I will talk to you all soon. Don't forget to like, comment below, and share it out there if you think others can benefit as well.